All right, we're going to make a quick video about some of the changes that are coming to the way that collector tokens are going to be distributed once you've completed Pool 3 cards. We're going to talk about how collector tokens are currently working and what it's going to be and why it's controversial. And we're also going to talk about the pool system and some various articles. The first thing is that there was a release of the patch notes on the South Korean forums, and what they said they're going to do is that they're going to add some RNG into the way that collector tokens are being distributed. Currently, once you've completed Pool 3, instead of pulling when you would normally pull a Pool 3 card, you get 400 collector tokens. So they're going to change that so that it has a variable rate anywhere from 200 to 600. Now, a lot of people ask about the pool system. And before I get into discussion about the changes being made, I want to explain the way the pool system works. Right now, there are 5 pools in the game. And pool 1 is, there's first of all, the starter cards you get when you start the game. And then there are 48 cards that are in pool 1 that you get from collection level 18 to 214. And then when you get past 214, you start randomly getting Pool 2 cards. There's 25 cards. And then once you've completed all the Pool 2 cards, which ends at 474, you start going into Pool 3. And then Pool 3 starts at 486, and you get Pool 3 cards. And you will have received all of the Pool 3 cards around collection level 3,000. And then what happens after that is that when you collect all the Pool 3 cards, then you start getting when you would have pulled a Pool 3 card, you get collector tokens instead. You get 400 collector tokens. So like right now I've got all the Pool 3 cards, and every once in a while I open up a collector reserve and I get 400 tokens. And that's because that's where I would have normally pulled a Pool 3 card. Series 4 have a very low chance. It's like 1 in 40 of opening out of a collector reserve. And then Series 5 is even worse. It's like 1 in 400. And the idea that they're going to have is eventually they're going to move, all the new cards are going into Pool 5. And then they're going to move the cards from Pool 5 to 4 and then 4 to 3. And so the changes that they're being made, a lot of people are kind of worried about them. It says like stepping, adding more RNG in chess, going from 200 to 600. Why not leaving at 400? He says it feels like kind of mechanical and boring. The end result is the same, but the journey is more fun. Well, but why do this? I want to talk about why do this, and then we're going to talk about a Forbes article. And the reason why I think that this is going into place is because it's a strange thing to do, and this being the only justification. But I'm going to talk about some patents that actually exist in the mobile gaming industry, and then also what a mobile gaming lawyer is saying about dynamic odds. And this is very controversial, and this is tinfoil hat. I don't know that Snap is doing this, but I know that other mobile games are actually doing this. And then let's read this before we get into that. Anyone familiar with gambling needs to call out the token randomization. It is provably makes the game worse for people. Experienced investor gamblers usually aware of things like Kelly criterion or Sharpe ratio. Those are this is a gambling thing. This is an investing thing. Basically put, if 2 assets have the same average return, one with more variance is provably worse. That is definitely true in investing. That's my background as a stockbroker and financial advisor. Basically put, if 2 assets have the same average return, but one with more variance is provably worse. If Benbro walks up to you and say, hey, we've got this asset that rewards you 10 tokens a month, but we want to change that to average of 10, but it'll be as low as 5 or as high as 15. A rational person who understands probability should say no to that. Randomization tokens game will only create bigger rift between the players who are actually lucky and the people who are not. Average number of cards across the entire place will remain the same. What about this, though? There's an actual patent that's in place by another mobile gaming company by Kabam. They've claimed multiple times that they do not use this patent, that they just created the patent for the sake of creating the patent so that they could sell it later or, prevent one of their competitors from doing it. Mystery boxes that adjust due to past spending behavior. This is an actual patent that was filed in 2014 by Kabam. Kabam is the makers of Marvel's Contest of Champions and other games. Now it's owned by, I believe, Netmarble. Abstract. a system and method for varying the distribution of probabilities of individual potential rewards associated with the probability item bundles depending on purchase history of a user activating probability item bundles. What this is saying is that, yes, the odds for a given loot box or collector reserve has a fixed amount, but they're manipulating it on between the different users based on how much money they have spent. So yeah, so the question is, why would they make such a silly change? Why not just leave it at 400? Instead, they want to add this variable so that it goes from 200 to 600. Other mobile companies have patents that decide who gets what based on spending patterns. This is confirmed by a lawyer, and we're going to watch this video. This is a video by People Make Games, and it's titled "How Valve is Profiting from Steam's Backdoor Casinos." And this is an interview, and this is a industry lawyer by the name of Ryan Morrison, and he's known as the video game attorney, founder parting for Morrison Rotham. And we're going to just play this clip and listen to what he says about these loot boxes and maybe how this applies to Marvel Snap.
I've had companies come to me of significant size come to me and ask for consultations on how to make sure what they're doing with loot boxes is legal. And one of the things they're doing is what is called dynamic odds, meaning if you don't spend money, you're going to win all the time. And why is that? It's because you are now walking around in game as a billboard to everyone else who wants that cool skin you're wearing. So they'll give it to you because you're not going to spend money anyway. But if you're someone who they know will spend $100 until they keep spending until they get what they want, your odds of winning are going to lower because they know you'll spend more and more and more. That is literally rigging a system that it goes against every gambling regulation. It goes against every basic law in this space. And it's happening in at least a few companies because they've gone over it with me. I can't say who because of attorney-client, but it's a legitimate issue. And I guarantee if these handful are doing it, many are doing it. I think the reality is that the industry is doing something it knows is wrong. When I go into the industry meetings, when I go into the rooms of lawyers or the rooms of publishers, industry insider, their confidential rooms and everything else, it feels like I'm sitting in the 1970s rooms with the tobacco companies explaining to each other why smoking can't cause cancer. That's what I am hearing when they go over their studies of how loot boxes can't cause kids to get addicted to gambling or can't be triggering any kind of endorphin rush that's creating addictive tendencies.
People Make Games reached out to Valve for a comment.
So, why change the system is the question. Is it because it feels boring, or is there some other reason? Maybe they're playing with the odds. Maybe they want to introduce gambling endorphin transactions where you feel good when you get 200 and you get 600. I don't know. This is all tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff, but I don't know why they're changing it. And the only thing I can come up is with these two, this patent that, suggests that they're manipulating the odds. And then this lawyer who's been in the industry, industry insider with other mobile games. And he's saying this is actually what they're doing. So that's very interesting. Now, I also want to go over loosely related to a Forbes article, which I wanted to read because I thought it was interesting. Marvel Snap keeps introducing new cards pretty much no one can get. I like this article. It says, let's just get to the point. He says, why I'm not missing any of my former card collecting games like Hearthstone, Storm, and new buy loads of RNG packs and every expansion. My new collecting card game Marvel Snap is doing, but its new card releases are almost more confusing and frustrating. Marvel Snap does not release huge collections of new cards at a time. It releases a handful of cards. That's right. It releases basically one a week. But now this new Savage Land has one card you can only get from buying a $10 season pass, and then 4 being introduced into the Series 5 tier of cards, which was introduced last month. So this is also true. Now, if you did not buy Silver Surfer on the last pack, Silver Surfer will be going into Pool 5 on Monday, and that is one of the cards being added into Pool 5. So if you don't buy the $10 pack, you're going to have to wait a long time before they even go into the Series 5 pool, which is like nearly impossible to get. What this means in practice is that By continually dumping new cards into Series 5, the game has created a situation where it keeps releasing cards that 98% of the player base simply won't get or usually even see, or this is clearly whale fishing, even for big spenders. There's not an easy path to collect these new cards either. And then in Marvel Snap, Series 3 cards are given out every 4 collector caches or so. And so basically until you have all the pool 3 cards, every 4 of those caches, you're getting a pool 3 card. Then once you have all the pool 3 cards, that's where you're getting the 400 tokens, which is going to be changed for a variable rate anywhere from 200 to 600. With 70 plus cards in Series 3 to collect, it's a long time to get them all free to play. That's for sure. I think it takes about 5 months if you do free to play, which is what the vast majority of the player base is currently working on. But then it's supposedly a 1 in 10 chance that the 1 in 4 card cache is a Series 4 card Ascent. I believe it's 1 in 40. It's actually 1 in 40. There's supposedly a 1 in 40 chance for the Series 4 card instead. And then 1 in 100, and I believe it's 1 in 400. So these numbers are a little worse than what's stated here. I believe it's 1 in 400 chance that it's in an ultra rare Series 5 card. And that's where all the new cards like 4 and 5 are this season being dumped. And all the cards added last month, and besides the Battle Pass Silver Passes, also went into Series 5. After the respective seasons, the Battle Pass cards like Surfer will be headed to, you guessed it, Series 5. So I do want to say that I feel like the $10 pass is a good value. Absolutely, this game. There's a lot of value in playing Marvel Snap, and if you just spend $10, you get a good card. I think it's worth it just for the card. I feel like if you're going to spend $10 on Marvel Snap, that's the best place to spend it for sure. The alternative from spending 6,000 collector tokens on a single Series 5 card, which rotates through the shop. But if you don't have every Series 3 card, it means you only get 100 tokens every few caches, and it's a pain enough to save up 1,000 tokens, much less 6,000. This is true. But then again, even for whales who shell out mega price bundles that include 2,000 to 3,000 tokens, it's almost unattainable. In fact, there have only been 2 bundles ever that even directly included tokens all, and the gold equivalent of $86 and another cost at $107. Now, a lot of people ask me what to spend gold on. I personally feel that those bundles that have the collector tokens, there's only been 2 of them. I went and bought those. In fact, there's the only 2 bundles that I like. I don't like the other bundles that are just cosmetics that don't have collector tokens. So I save my gold, and I save my gold up for the bundles that have the collector tokens. So I like those bundles that have the collecting tokens. There's only been 2 of them. And you get a lot of gold. And a lot of people say, what do I spend the gold on? And some people buy variants, some people buy credits. That's fine, but I think you're better off waiting for those bundles is the best value. What this means in practical terms is that 80% of the new cards Marvel Snap are introduced are being putting these hugely expensive or hugely rare tiers that almost no one will ever get, even many big spender. It's not a logical system. Ben Bro commented on this, and he agrees critical rhythm is not good, maintains will change in the future. Yeah, because they haven't announced yet how they're going to release cards from Pool 4 and downgrade them into Pool 3. Same thing from Pool 5 to Pool 4, which they're going to talk about here. In the end game, players will be getting an average of 4 new cards a month. As free to play, you'll be able to choose whether that is a Series 5 card or the Series 3 card that you've just been demoted, or 2 Series 4 cards and the Series 3 cards that have been demoted. That's what they're saying is that free to play, you'll get about, once you've completed your Pool 3, you will be getting about 6,000 collector tokens a month for free, is what they're stating right here. I'm curious to see how that feels once we get started into that rhythm. I think it's unfortunate right now most folks aren't able to engage meaningful with Series 4 and Series 5. And this is the point. Maybe it's a dream, but that's not how it works right now. And this is the part of the article I largely agree with, mainly because no cards even have been demoted from Series 4 to Series 3 to show up in that pool. And no timeline has been given on when that'll happen. Once Series 3 is completed, you start getting more tokens, hence why the idea even free-to-play players could save for Series 5 card in a given month. But we are far, far away from that now, and most players are getting to maybe collection level 2,500, 3,000 before even completing the entire series. It's a long ways off for almost every ant, even someone like me who's been playing nonstop. And you don't have to play a lot. You just basically need to complete the daily objectives, which doesn't take a lot of time. But yeah, it'll take about 5 months for that to happen. We'll see how this changes in the future. But for the new season, it feels like another Heaven Bench cards we'll never see and play in our decks. Now, I just want to talk about some analysis here. And this is, and the reason why I find this a little bit frustrating is that they've created this collector token system where somebody had to build a super complicated spreadsheet just to calculate how it works. And the one thing I can say about this is that they do pretty much cap spending at about $430 a month in Marvel Strike and Marvel Snap. And if I compare that to the other games that I've covered, like Marvel Strike Force or Marvel or Galaxy of Heroes. Literally, those games you can spend, hundreds, thousands, $10,000 a month if you want to. It is capped in Marvel Strike Force, being that before we dive into the one important aspect to consider, it takes 9 days to spend every 100 gold. So if you want to spend gold, then you can do that, and you can spend about $300 and something a month. And when you do that, you're getting reserve tokens, you're getting credits, and so on. And all of that has been calculated in here. And what they're calculating, and this is kind of interesting, basically he just goes through and calculates all cost, and that you can spend a maximum of $430 a month. But the actual cost is this. A pool 3 cards, basically when he did all of his math, cost $21. A pool 4 card costs $82. A pool 5 card costs $221. And that's based off spending a maximum of $430 a month. Now, did you think that a pool 5 card is worth $225? I don't know. I feel like they've done a good job in hiding this number from the community by making the system complicated. I mean, and pulling these out of collector reserve boxes is very challenging. It's like 1 in 400, and it takes a long time to get collector tokens. And if you want to accelerate getting collector tokens, you got to spend and the $100 on gold. Do that 3 times. Spend that over 9 days. Refreshing all of your missions and buying all the credits, and so on and so on. Let me know what you think about all this system. Are you worried about it? I have mixed feelings about it. What I feel about this system is that it is, it is technically predatory. They're definitely using psychological hooks and different ways of getting money out of players. It's just a lot better than the other games. I want to say it's like 10 times not as bad as Marvel Strike Force, but I think a lot of people are coming from, games like League of Legends and Fortnite, and they're playing Marvel Snap, and they don't like this. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you okay with this, or are you not? Let me know. Bye.